Welcome to Minority Prospects College Game Day. We are here live in Vero Beach at the 2025 MLB Andre Dawson Classic. Man, I got a special guest with me today. My boy Mark Cheats of Black Baseball Mixtapes. Man, Mark, what's going on, buddy?
Man, we in the building. We're so excited to be here at Vero Beach. This is the Jackie Robinson Complex, Andre Dawson Classic. We're talking 8 of some of the best college baseball teams. HBCUs were represented heavily in the SWAC, and University of Missouri came this year.
That's right. Missouri's here with it.
Coach, I just want to make sure everybody fully understands what's taking place over these 3 days, because it is action-packed, wall-to-wall, 4 games every day. We're talking SWAC teams, we're talking SEC teams.
Absolutely. Man, you have the likes of Alabama State here, Prairie View. You have the likes of Jackson State, as you see right behind us, man, and they are competing. And just to have a SEC opponent, man, Missouri, shout out to Carrick Jackson, man, first African-American coach in SEC history. His ball club is down, man. It's, like you said, full of action, full of pack.
Coach Jackson's here from the SEC. You know who else is here, Prez? MLB. MLB is here. MLB Network is here. These games are being showcased on a stage. The games, some of them are on MLB Network live in the evenings, and some of them are streamed. All of them are streamed. What does that mean, Coach, when you think about all the players that you work with, minority players especially, being able to be built on such a big stage?
Yeah, you talk about visibility. You talk about exposure. You talk about the world seeing the level of baseball at HBCUs. This is what it's all about. These kids get an opportunity to showcase their hard work, everything that they put in every day on campus with their programs and teammates, man. So it's everything. You're talking about opportunities for pro scouts to really evaluate these kids, man. This is everything. So as many opportunities as these programs can seize to really be seen and get that exposure platform, the better.
It's a big opportunity for the players on a national platform. It's also a big test for these coaches.
It is.
You know all of these coaches. We know a lot of these coaches. And these early season tests, whether you're talking about the Cactus Jack HBCU tournament that just took place last weekend, or the Andre Dawson Classic right here in Vero Beach, as a coach, what are you looking to learn from your team when you have these big platforms and these big stages?
Yeah, well, you're going to see when those lights flip on with the bright lights, what team you have. You know, learning, teaching composure. As a coach, man, you want to always make sure your kids stay under control in high environment situations with larger crowds. And it's going to tell you a lot about your team that you can just kind of take back and get ready for that tournament setting that's going to be later in the year.
Well, we've got some games to recap. Day 1 was a whirlwind game that took place. 4 games, a lot of action. We're going to talk about it in just 1 second. Coach, we want to give a recap of the amazing action that took place on day 1, which was Friday night of the Andre Dawson Classic. I want to roll through a couple of scores with you just so you can see it. Alabama A&M picked up their second victory over Prairie View A&M. The score was 7-4. Jackson State had a come-from-behind victory over Southern, and you know that rivalry.
That was a good rivalry.
It's a great rivalry. It was a great game.
That's right. 6-4 ball game. That was a back-and-forth game, but I love to see those intense rivalries.
Grambling State put up 5 runs in the second inning against Alabama State, but Alabama State, Coach Vasquez and the squad came back, took the victory to 6-5, put up all zeros after the second inning.
But you gotta tell them how the game ended, man. It ended on a trick play.
The hidden ball trick. When was the last time you've seen a game end on the hidden ball trick? Neither coach couldn't believe it. Coach Vasquez could not believe that they did it. Coach Pierre couldn't believe that they got caught with it. So it was a whole situation.
That was a work of art, man. 2 outs.
The nightcap was the premier showdown of the evening. Florida A&M. Andre Dawson is an alumni of Florida A&M. He was in the building, watched the entire game, and it was a pretty exciting action. Coach Jackson bought Missouri from the SEC, and it was everything we thought it was going to be.
Had a chance to talk to the Hawk, man, and he was very impressed with how Florida A&M competed. That's all he was saying. I wanted them to compete and try to take the win if they're in range.
They did compete.
They did that.
Missouri got the win 6-5, but let me tell you, the game ended 2 out,
Absolutely.
Bottom of the 9th, triple. So there's a runner standing on third base. Missouri did shut the door and get the 6-5 win. It was an amazing, amazing day 1. Overall, Coach, what do you take away from 4 action-packed games, a lot of newness because the season is very new. Right. What did you take away from just the overall day?
Well, I'll tell you this. We got to keep an eye on SWAC baseball because it's going to be super competitive. All teams are going to get better, and we're going to see a lot of action-packed going down the stretch, man, and I'm excited for May.
I talked to each of these coaches. There was a theme from these coaches. We got to clean up the play. Clean up. I heard a lot about execution and cleaning up. Even as we start day 2, some of the coaches are already saying it looked better than yesterday.
Absolutely.
What does that mean when a coach says we got to clean up, we got to execute?
Yeah, clean up, execute. We're talking about limit the errors. You know, having clean up our approaches. You know, what pitch selection. What are we swinging at? Situational situations. You know, there were a lot of guys that were left on base, you know, so you have key moments, key opportunities that will help you produce runs. You have to execute.
Well, whatever these teams missed in execution, they did not lack in enthusiasm. It was a scene yesterday, all 4 games, high energy, high action, great crowd, wonderful setting here in Vero Beach.
Well, Cheats, I'm definitely looking forward to day 2, man. Just the slate of games that's coming here. Our morning game started off with Grambling and Alabama A&M. Grambling took that in a 7-4 fashion, really hard-fought ball game.
Little payback, too.
Absolutely.
Last week,
from
Alabama A&M,
Cactus Classic.
15-14.
That was a walk-off fashion, right?
Cost Grambling the actual crown of the Cactus Championship.
That's right. So I was excited to see them start things off. And then next, here right behind us, man, at 12, we have Jackson State and Prairie View going at it. So, again.
You said something about Jackson State that I believe, you probably also believe, but they never tell you exactly how good a Jackson State baseball team is this early in the season, but you think they're going to be pretty good.
He's like Coach Omar is like the Secret Service, man. You never know what he's going to do or pull out on you, man. So I'm excited. Yeah, they have a very good ball club from a talent perspective on the rosters, and I'm starting to see it unfold here on the field.
And then we've got game 3.
Yep, game 3. We have Alabama State and Missouri. That's going to be a pretty impressive one. Coach Vasquez, his ball club, real gritty ball club, great hitting ball team, and some really live arms that are going to come here.
And 2 coaches that actually know each other very well. Coach Vasquez and Coach Jackson are both a part of the diversity committee for the American Coaches Association. So they work together, they talk a lot, and they spent a lot of time together. So they know each other well.
That's right.
This is not going to be a game that neither team takes lightly.
No, I'm excited to see that one. And then pulling up the rear, we're talking about FAMU Southern. That's just a classic rivalry in an institution fashion. So I'm looking forward to that game as well with Coach Crenshaw and Coach Jeremy Shute.
The history of Southern baseball is legendary. When we talk about Florida A&M, and the way being the de facto home team here since Andre Dawson is alumni of FAMU.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be a great matchup tonight.
Day 2 action here at the Andre Dawson Classic. Kicking off things, Chiefs, we had Grambling and Alabama A&M with the early slated game this morning. Grambling took the edge 7-4, pulled it out with the win. But let's talk about how there was almost a revenge game there, man.
It wasn't almost. It was a revenge game. They played last week, and 15-14 win by Alabama A&M. It was the coach's first win of that program, and it was a big deal.
That's right. And you're talking about the Bulldogs getting out of the gate with a 2-0 lead early. So that put a lot of pressure on Grambling. But Grambling, one thing I noticed, they stayed composed. They kept their approaches all the way through the game. And we're talking about late innings, man. We're talking about Trey Bridges coming through with a big 8th inning crushing blow that extended that lead to 7-4.
It was a 2-run single where Bridges ended up on second base. I asked Coach Pierre about it, and he said this is the type of hits they need. They need timely hits. They leave way too many runners on. Bridges has a lot of ability. He came through in the clutch. Coach was really proud of that.
I think also speaking with Coach, one of the things he was impressed with is they limited the amount of pitches on the pitcher's arm. You saw 2 unassisted double plays by Keanu at second base, which was amazing. Those are pitcher's best friend. That's what we call pitcher's best friend.
They are pitcher's best friends, and he talked about this, harped on it. Even to yesterday's game, he was not impressed with the defensive execution. He was extremely impressed impressed today with Gramblin's defensive execution and making plays when they count.
You also had the likes of Chris Marcellus. He went 2 for 3. You had Trey Burrell getting his first start. That kid's out of Alabama, real high pedigree kid with stolen bases that actually changes the game. So we're talking about a plethora, a full lineup for this Grambling team, man, that anybody can come to life at any time.
And when Grambling has their when they're firing at all cylinders, they are tough to beat. Coach Pierre knows that, and he says everybody's going to give them their best shot. We talked about it. They played Alabama A&M last week. They played them again today. They play them 3 more times and possibly could play them in the conference tournament at the end of the season. I asked Coach about what's it like playing one team that many times, and he said, hey, let's not get it overblown. We're going to be familiar with every team in the SWAC, but more importantly, as they are reigning SWAC champions, everybody's going to give them their best shot.
Well, 3 games left today, man. A lot of baseball left. I'm excited to just kind of watch these teams go toe to toe. But looking forward to an exciting day too.